Fall in St. Louis, Kentucky, hit differently. The sun still burned like it was July, but the trees were giving up, their leaves curling, yellowing, dropping one by one. I stepped out onto the porch in an old red t-shirt, feeling the warm, heavy breeze toss the leaves down the cracked sidewalks. The whole town was buzzing about the wedding of the century, mine and Sophia's. It was going to be one of those small-town weddings. Open church, white tents flapping in the heat, sagging wooden tables covered in second-hand lace. Sophia was the star everyone looked at, glowing, untouchable. And me? I stood there believing, stubbornly, stupidly, that love could erase the cracks already starting to show. It was a quiet September evening, heavy with the smell of cut grass and dying flowers. We sat on the rickety porch swing, sipping sweet tea, talking about our future like it was carved in stone. But deep down, somewhere tight in my chest, I already felt it, that choking lump you can't swallow. It started small. A missed call here, a half-hearted excuse there. Sorry, my phone died. Sophia would laugh, tossing her hair, flashing that perfect smile. And like a damn fool, I believed her. The heat didn't let up. It clung to everything, thick and sticky, like the tension in our little house. The evenings got shorter, but the nights stretched out, heavy and restless. I remember one night. I was sitting on the porch, an untouched beer sweating in my hand, staring at the crooked streetlight buzzing with moths. Sophia was working late again. Something inside me twisted hard, like a fist around my ribs. I knew. God, I knew. But knowing and accepting? Two different beasts. The next morning, I found her phone on the kitchen counter, unlocked. That little green light blinking at me like a dare. I didn't want to look. I really didn't. Because once you know, you can't unknow. But I picked it up anyway. And right there, plain as the nose on my face, were the messages. Not one. Not two. 6. 6 different nights, 6 different excuses, 6 little betrayals spelled out in laughing emojis and late-night, miss you texts. And the worst part? The name at the top of the thread. My best friend. I should have called off the wedding right then. That's what a sane man would do, right? Find out your fiancé's been sleeping with your best friend and pull the plug? But nah, I didn't call it off. Instead, I went to the florist and doubled the flower order. I called the church and paid for extra chairs. I smiled at Sophia like nothing had changed. Kissed her forehead when she said she was just so busy with wedding stuff. She didn't suspect a thing. Neither did he. I was done playing the fool, but I wasn't going to scream or throw punches. No, that would have been too easy for them. I wanted a show. I wanted them both to feel it, the weight of their choices, in front of everyone they thought they could fool. I wanted the whole damn town to see who they really were. So I made a plan. I called the AV guy at the church and asked if I could use the big screen behind the altar. Just a little slideshow, I said. Pictures of us growing up, falling in love. He smiled. Sweet idea, son. Yeah, real sweet. Then I spent the next week gathering every piece of proof I could. Screenshots, emails, voicemails. Every whispered lie, every dirty little secret. Laid out clean and cold, ready for the biggest reveal this town had ever seen. All while the September sun baked the sidewalks and the cicadas screamed in the trees. The morning of the wedding felt wrong. Not nervous wrong. Not cold feet wrong. End of the world wrong. The air was thick and soupy, like it wanted to choke you. The sun beat down on the old church, warping the white paint and making the stained glass windows shimmer like oil slicks. Inside, everyone buzzed with excitement. Aunt Patty crying already. My buddies slapping my back, telling me I was the luckiest man alive. And Sophia, God, she looked like a dream, all ivory lace and fake innocence. If I hadn't known what I knew, I might have fallen for it all over again. The church filled up fast. Family, friends, neighbors, even my old math teacher who once told me I'd never amount to much. Perfect. Sophia's dad walked her down the aisle, proud as a rooster. The organ played some old hymn. Everyone stood. Except me. I stayed seated. Whispers. Rustling. Eyes darting between me and the pastor. Sophia reached the altar, confused. Smiling, still playing her part. That's when I stood up. I pulled the little remote out of my jacket pocket and faced the crowd. Thank you all for coming, I said, my voice echoing off the high wooden beams. I know you were expecting a wedding today. A few nervous chuckles. But instead, I thought we could watch a little love story first. I clicked the button, and up on that big church screen came the texts, the pictures, the nights, the lies. At first, there was silence. Not just quiet, the kind of silence that presses against your chest and makes your ears ring. Then came the gasps, the sharp whispers, the stifled cries from Sophia's side of the aisle. Sophia herself stood frozen at the altar, her bouquet slipping from her fingers. My best friend, former best friend, turned beet red, shrinking into his seat like he could disappear. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't need to. The screen did all the talking. I looked out at the crowd, faces twisted in shock, pity, horror, and said, "This isn't a love story. It's a warning sign." I clicked the remote one last time. The screen went black, and so did that whole chapter of my life. I turned, straightened my tie, and walked out the front doors into the burning Kentucky afternoon. The heat slapped me in the face like freedom. The sky was so blue it almost hurt to look at. Somewhere a dog barked. Somewhere kids laughed. And me? I smiled for the first time in months. As I stepped off the church steps, my cousin ran up, breathless. "Where you headed, man?" I shrugged. "Anywhere but St. Louis." He laughed. I laughed too. And together we walked off down the dusty sidewalk, into the heat, into the mess, into whatever the hell was coming next. Because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't running from anything. I was running toward myself.